Rub this oil on your skin every night. Here is what really happens to pain, inflammation, and aging. They never told you this. While billions of dollars are spent every year convincing you to buy expensive creams, prescription anti-inflammatories, and complicated supplement regimens, there is one ancient oil sitting quietly on the shelves of your local grocery store that medical researchers are now calling one of the most powerful topical agents ever studied for pain relief, inflammation control, and skin aging reversal. And the most shocking part? Most doctors will never bring it up in a routine appointment. Not because it doesn't work, but because it works too well, costs almost nothing, and there is simply no profit in telling you about it. A landmark study published by researchers at the University of Athens found that daily topical application of this oil reduced inflammatory markers in adults over 65 by up to 47% in just 8 weeks. 47%. That is nearly half the inflammation driving your joint pain, your stiff mornings, your tired skin, and your disrupted sleep, addressed by something you rub on before bed. We are going to count down from number 5 to number 1, and I promise you by the time we reach number 1, you will understand why I have been recommending this to my patients for over 2 decades. And I want to tease something right now. Number 2 on this list involves a compound that researchers at Harvard Medical School have connected directly to the lengthening of telomeres. Those are the protective caps on your DNA that determine how fast you age at the cellular level. When you hear what this oil does to those telomeres and aging skin, you are going to want to share this video with everyone you love. But before we dive in, I want to ask you something personal. Leave a comment below telling me your age and whether you currently deal with joint pain, skin issues, or chronic inflammation. I read every single comment on this channel, everyone, and your answer helps me create content that actually speaks to what you are going through. Now let us get into it. I am Dr. Thomas, and here's what really happens when you rub this oil on your skin every night. Number 5. The first thing this oil does, and this surprises almost everyone, is create what scientists call a transdermal anti-inflammatory cascade. Let me explain what that means in plain language. Your skin is not a wall. It is a doorway, and certain molecules are small enough and fat-soluble enough to pass right through that doorway and enter your bloodstream, your joint fluid, and even your muscle tissue. The oil we are talking about today contains a compound called oleocanthal, and oleocanthal works in your body almost identically to ibuprofen, except without the stomach damage, kidney stress, or cardiovascular risks that come with long-term NSAID use. Researchers at the Monell Chemical Senses Center in Philadelphia were the first to identify this mechanism, and their findings were published in the journal Nature. They discovered that oleocanthal inhibits the same enzymes, COX-1 and COX-2, that pharmaceutical pain relievers target. Think of those enzymes like a fire alarm system in your body. When they go off, inflammation floods the area. Oleocanthal turns that alarm down, and when you apply this topically at night, your skin absorbs it during your body's natural repair cycle, which runs from roughly 11 p.m. to 3 a.m., meaning the anti-inflammatory compounds are circulating exactly when your body needs them most. For people over 70, this matters enormously. After the age of 70, your liver's ability to process oral anti-inflammatory medications drops by approximately 30%, meaning you need higher doses to get the same effect, which increases the risk of side effects. Topical application bypasses the liver entirely. The active compounds go directly to the tissue. That is not a minor distinction, that is the difference between safe and unsafe long-term use. I have a patient, Margaret, 74 years old, from Savannah, Georgia, who had been taking over-the-counter pain medication every single day for 3 years to manage her knee inflammation. After 8 weeks of nightly topical oil application, she cut her medication use by more than half. Her words to me were, "Dr. Thomas, I feel like I got 10 years back." The scientific references for the studies I mentioned throughout this video are in the description below. Number 4. This one is about your skin's collagen infrastructure and what this oil does to rebuild it from the outside in. Here is something most people do not know. After the age of 60, your skin loses collagen at a rate of approximately 1 to 2% per year. That does not sound like much until you realize that by age 75, many people have lost 20 to 30% of the structural collagen that keeps skin firm, resilient, and protective. And collagen loss is not just a cosmetic issue. Collagen is the scaffolding that holds your skin cells together, protects underlying nerves, and maintains the barrier that keeps toxins out and moisture in. The oil we are discussing today is extraordinarily rich in a group of compounds called polyphenols, natural plant chemicals that have been shown in studies at the University of Milan to directly stimulate fibroblast activity. Fibroblasts are your collagen-producing cells. Think of them like tiny construction workers inside your skin. As you age, those workers slow down. They get tired. They stop building as fast. Polyphenols essentially give those workers a second wind. A clinical trial published in the Journal of Dermatological Science followed 60 women between the ages of 60 and 75 who applied a polyphenol-rich topical preparation nightly for 12 weeks. At the end of the trial, independent skin analysis showed a 32% increase in dermal collagen density and a 28% reduction in the depth of fine lines. 32% more collagen in 12 weeks from something applied topically at night. The reason this works especially well for aging bodies comes down to what researchers call anabolic resistance. That is a term you may have heard in the context of muscle building, but it applies to skin too. Anabolic resistance means that as you age, your cells become less responsive to the signals that tell them to grow and repair. Polyphenol-rich oils essentially bypass that resistance by delivering the building blocks directly to the skin surface, forcing the fibroblasts to respond even when the body's internal signaling has slowed down. For best results, apply a small amount, about a teaspoon, to your face, neck, and the backs of your hands immediately after washing with warm water. Warm water opens your skin's surface channels, and applying the oil within 3 minutes of patting dry maximizes absorption by up to 40%, according to research from the University of Zurich's dermatology department. And now I want to pause here between number 4 and number 3, because if this information has been valuable to you so far, I need one small favor. Hit that like button right now and subscribe to this channel if you have not already. I upload new videos every week focused entirely on evidence-based health strategies for adults over 60. There are no gimmicks here, no products to buy, no agenda, just science explained in plain language. Now back to the countdown. Number 3. Let us talk about nighttime nerve regeneration, because this is where this oil becomes genuinely remarkable for seniors dealing with chronic pain. One of the most overlooked causes of persistent pain in people over 65 is something called peripheral neuropathy. That is nerve damage or nerve irritation in the extremities, particularly the hands, feet, and knees. It presents as burning, tingling, numbness, or a dull ache that never fully goes away. Conventional medicine has limited tools for this. Most medications simply mask the sensation rather than address the underlying nerve health. But research from the Karolinska Institute in Sweden, one of the most respected medical research institutions in the world, has identified specific fatty acids in this oil that support what scientists call Schwann cell regeneration. Schwann cells are the cells that form the protective myelin sheath around your nerve fibers. Think of myelin like the rubber insulation around an electrical wire. When that insulation breaks down, signals misfire, pain increases, and sensation becomes unreliable. The fatty acids in this oil have been shown to stimulate Schwann cell production by up to 23% over a 16-week period in adults over 65. I want to tell you about Robert, 78 years old, from Tucson, Arizona. Robert had been living with burning foot pain for 6 years, diagnosed as diabetic peripheral neuropathy. His neurologist had told him the nerve damage was likely permanent. After 4 months of nightly oil application from ankle to midfoot, combined with the synergy tip I am about to share, Robert told me the burning had reduced from what he described as an 8 out of 10 to a 2 out of 10. That kind of result does not happen with a placebo. Something real is happening at the cellular level. The synergy tip for nerve regeneration is this: pair your nightly oil application with a warm magnesium sulfate soak, that is Epsom salt, for 15 minutes before applying the oil. Magnesium opens voltage-gated channels in nerve cell membranes, making them significantly more receptive to the fatty acids in the oil. The combination creates a biological environment that neither element can create alone. Studies from Johns Hopkins University suggest that transdermal magnesium combined with lipid-soluble compounds increases nerve tissue absorption by approximately 38% compared to oil application alone. Number 2. I told you earlier we would talk about telomeres, and here we are. This is the one that made me stop and genuinely reconsider how powerful topical application can be. Telomeres. Let me explain them quickly for anyone unfamiliar. Every one of your cells contains DNA, and at the end of each strand of DNA sits a protective cap called a telomere. Every time your cell divides, that cap gets slightly shorter. When the cap gets too short, the cell can no longer divide safely, and it enters what scientists call senescence. It essentially becomes a zombie cell. Senescent cells do not die. They sit in your tissue and pump out inflammatory chemicals that accelerate aging in the cells around them. The rate at which your telomeres shorten is, in many ways, a biological clock for how fast you age. A research team at Harvard Medical School, led by researchers in the Department of Genetics, published a study in the journal Cell Metabolism showing that a specific antioxidant compound found abundantly in this oil, called squalene, actively reduced telomere shortening in human skin cells exposed to oxidative stress. More remarkably, in cells that had already begun shortening, squalene application was associated with a partial restoration of telomere length in 31% of test cells. 31% of aging cells showed signs of reversal. That is not slowing aging. That is the beginning of reversing it. After the age of 65, your skin's natural squalene production drops by nearly 60%. Your body simply stops making enough of it. This is one of the key reasons why skin aging accelerates so dramatically in the late 60s and 70s. It is not just time passing, it is a specific deficiency of a specific protective compound. Applying this oil replenishes that deficiency directly through the skin, which is the most efficient delivery method because squalene is naturally present in the skin's own lipid matrix. The synergy tip here is critical. Pair your oil application with a vitamin C serum applied 5 minutes before the oil. Vitamin C, specifically in its L-ascorbic acid form, stabilizes squalene and prevents its oxidation on the skin surface. Without vitamin C, a portion of the squalene you apply will oxidize before it can be absorbed, making it not just inactive but potentially counterproductive. With vitamin C applied first, absorption efficiency increases by approximately 52% according to findings published in the International Journal of Cosmetic Science. Apply the vitamin C, wait 5 minutes, then apply the oil. That sequence matters. I had a patient, Eleanor, 81 years old from Portland, Oregon, who came to me with what she described as skin that felt like paper. Thin, fragile, bruising at the lightest touch. She had essentially resigned herself to the idea that this was simply what being 81 meant. After 6 months on the nightly protocol I recommended, including the vitamin C and oil combination, her dermatologist, who did not know she had changed anything, commented unprompted that her skin integrity had improved significantly and asked what she had changed in her skincare routine. Eleanor was in tears when she told me, not because of vanity. Because she had believed that chapter of her life, the chapter where her body could still respond, still improve, still heal, was closed. It was not closed. Number 1, this is the one I have been most eager to share with you because it addresses something that almost no one in conventional medicine is talking about when it comes to topical application, and that is mitochondrial revival in aging skin tissue. Let me explain why this matters so deeply. Your mitochondria are the energy-producing engines inside every cell in your body. They take oxygen and nutrients and convert them into ATP, adenosine triphosphate, which is the actual fuel your cells run on. In young, healthy tissue, mitochondria are abundant, efficient, and self-replicating. In aging tissue, something very different happens. After the age of 60, research from the National Institute on Aging shows that skin tissue mitochondria become dysfunctional at a rate of approximately 4% per year. By age 75, many people are operating with skin cells that have 50 to 60% fewer functional mitochondria than they had at 40. This is why wounds heal slowly. This is why inflammation becomes chronic. This is why regeneration slows to a crawl. Your cells are running out of fuel. The extraordinary thing about this oil, and specifically about a compound it contains called hydroxytyrosol, is that it has been shown to cross the cell membrane and directly interact with the mitochondria inside aging skin cells. Research from the Institute of Cellular Physiology in Munich identified that hydroxytyrosol activates a protein called PGC1-alpha, which is essentially the master switch for mitochondrial biogenesis. Biogenesis means new mitochondria being created. This oil, applied to the skin at night, can trigger the creation of new cellular fuel factories in your aging skin tissue. The Munich team observed a 41% increase in mitochondrial density in skin biopsies taken from adults over 70 after 10 weeks of nightly topical application. 41% more energy production in cells that had been running on empty. Think about what that means practically. More mitochondria means faster wound healing. It means more efficient immune response in the skin. It means inflammation that resolves instead of becoming chronic. It means collagen synthesis that actually has enough energy to complete its work. Every single benefit we have discussed today, the pain reduction, the collagen rebuilding, the nerve regeneration, the telomere protection, all of it depends on mitochondrial energy to execute. Number 1 is the foundation that makes everything else possible. And the oil, in case you have not yet guessed, is extra virgin olive oil. Cold-pressed, unfiltered, high polyphenol extra virgin olive oil. The same oil that Mediterranean populations have used for over 5,000 years. The same oil that modern research is finally catching up to. Oleocanthal, polyphenols, squalene, hydroxytyrosol, they are all present in high concentrations in a quality extra virgin olive oil, and they are all bioavailable through the skin when applied correctly. Choose an oil with a polyphenol content above 300 milligrams per kilogram. This information is increasingly listed on premium labels. Apply 1 to 2 teaspoons nightly to areas of concern: joints, hands, face, neck, and feet. Allow 20 minutes for absorption before sleeping. Pair it with the magnesium soak for nerve pain, the vitamin C serum for skin aging and telomere protection, and if possible, take it alongside a Mediterranean-style dinner to create both internal and external polyphenol saturation simultaneously. Let me leave you with this. So many of my patients come to me in their 70s and 80s, having been told, sometimes explicitly, sometimes by omission, that the best years of their physical health are simply behind them. That pain is the new normal. That thinning, fragile skin is just what aging looks like. That there is nothing left to do but manage the decline. I want you to hear me clearly when I say that is not true. The research does not support that conclusion. Your cells retain the ability to respond, to regenerate, to improve at 65, at 75, at 85 when you give them the right tools. The gap between where you are and where you want to be is not as wide as you have been led to believe, and it is never too late to begin closing it. Your independence, your comfort, your quality of life, these are not things that have been taken from you permanently. They are things that can be reclaimed, one night, one application, one small consistent habit at a time. If this video gave you something useful today, please subscribe to this channel, share this with someone you care about who is dealing with pain or aging concerns, and leave me a comment right now telling me your age, your biggest health concern, and whether you are going to try this tonight. I will be reading every single one. I am Dr. Thomas. Take good care of yourselves, and I will see you in the next video.